بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. So today we're discussing one proverb from one of the books, and the Arab proverb is تعاملوا تعاشروا كالإخوان تعاشروا كالإخوان وتعاملوا كالأجانب. That when you deal with each other, you're feeding, giving a gift, you're living together, then there you have to live like brothers. Right? Here, this is a gift for you. You use this, go ahead, take this, don't be open-hearted, be generous. But ta'amalu kal ajanib. But even in that first part is a little note. Sometimes when you interacting with somebody, don't go too fast too quickly. The same thing, too fast too quickly. Don't go too much too quickly. Don't get too close too quickly. Why? Let's say, for example, you're traveling with somebody, classmate, and you're not really sure how much munasaba, how close you are, how like you compatible. So let's say, for example, you're traveling on a journey together, you're in a Hajj group together, you're in an Umrah group together, and you get really close, and then all of a sudden you realize, okay, he's doing things a bit that I don't really like. But now then things get a bit like bitter afterwards. Like you say, oh, he can use anything I want, but then he's using it and not putting it back. Or he's overusing, he's going to use it moderately. The guy's just like caning the whole thing, that's slang, using the whole thing. So when you, in a friendship or in something, when you do something, go a bit slowly. Because that's what happens that's some of the advice that's the ulama give when you go for Hajj. That just be careful how fast you go in a relationship, in a friendship, because then you might go so fast, very deep, and then realize, okay, after a while as you cut to know each other, it gets a bit, no, it doesn't, don't become friends, but just be a bit cautious. Because what happens, if you go this far, like let's say go 10 units deep in friendship, that's fine. And you go 50 units deep in friendship, but then you have a problem, then it goes 50 units deep in enmity backwards. Are you following? So be careful. Especially people who don't know the first time, go slowly interact. But nonetheless, ta'ashiru kal ikhwan. When you're dealing with people, have an open heart, be kind, be generous, with moderation and considering the things I mentioned before. And when you do mu'amala, when you interact with people, buying, selling, loan, debt, all of these kind of things, like ajanib, as if it's a stranger. What does this mean? Make sure you write it down. Make sure things are very clear. Because what can happen very easily is it's a mix-up. So, he's my brother, it doesn't matter. And then you forgot. So when if you don't get anything, but when you feel mistreated, what happens? You feel, it gets a bit of a thing in your heart. It causes a problem. There was one person who used to live we used to sleep in Madrasa with us at night time, Haji Sahab. So he used to say for us, he passed away now, may Allah Ta'ala have mercy upon him and he stays in Jannah. So when we in itikaf, so he used to be in charge, so he used to say, like, some of the food would come. So he would always say, like, make sure you look after the containers. And he's saying Gujarati, the ladies, they'll give you gold, they'll give you food equal to gold. But if you use a 50p container, they get angry at you. Because why? They want to give the food. So whether the food costs 20 pound of meat and 30 pound of rice and all that, they feed everybody. But if you the 5 pound or 2 pound container, which is much less than the value of the food, if that goes missing, because they didn't want to give the container. So when what they didn't want to give, that's gone, it doesn't matter the value. They didn't want to give the container supposed to come back. So now they feel, I've been wronged here, my 2 pound container has gone missing, where is it gone? They get angry and they'll shout at the husband, that with Launi container can't come you. But the 50 pound food, they don't mind. The hours spent cooking, they don't mind. So similarly, you say, there's dawat. So let's say for example, you go, with 5 of us in a group, I'll feed everybody. So you give everybody like, 5 pound worth of burgers, so 5 people, so 25 pound. Right? He's laughing at me. The 5 pound burgers are not anymore. They cost a bit more than that. You're old man, so no time is 5 pound now. How much? What's the going rate for burger now? Oh, subhanallah. Don't say those kind of prices. It hurts my heart. Yeah? I'm going to say a 5 pound. Yeah? So let's say example, in the ideal world, you'll find a discounted 5 pound burger per person. Now, I fed everybody, 5 people, 10 people, that's 50 pound. But if one person, he owes me like 5 pound and he doesn't pay it back, not me, any person, it's like, so you paid him, you gave him 5 pound to eat. But that 5 pound he owed you and there's a mix-up, or you think he owed you, he didn't pay or he forgot to pay, that will bother you. You won't remember how much I spent on the food. Because human nature. You understand? So when we dealing with people, number one is ta'ashiru kal ikhwan. Deal like brothers with an open heart and kind and polite. And even in then, don't go very fast, very deep. Go slowly so you understand each other's nature. Because remember, the closer relationship, what happens when something happens, it gets more. The fallback and the pushback is a lot more. And especially with somebody you first met in a journey or in a classroom or something, just go slow. Because then what happens, if you suss out your relationship first, suss out are you on the same wavelength or not, if not, it causes problems. And when you're dealing with somebody, you have mu'amalat, And B, even if it's somebody close to you, even if they are close to you, make sure you have things in writing. Don't just assume that because we're brothers or we're sisters or we're same teachers in the same madrasa or we're student and teacher. No, make sure how much you owe, what you owe, what's the agreed repayment date, so that it don't cause any problems. It may seem a bit all these formalities, but in the long run it works out better. There's more safety in all of this. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to act. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.